Welcome students. Today we'll be continuing our last lecture of Mendel's law of inheritance. We have started the preliminary uh, lectures and we have discussed what are the principles behind the Mendel's law of inheritance. We have talked about how Gregor Johann Mendel selected pea plant and how the simple differences are used for his study and what are the terminologies in the last lecture. Now today we will be directly moving on to the law of dominance part. Okay, now this is just a schematic diagram. This is showing the purple flower and white flowers are crossed, and the purple flower contains stamens and white flower contains male parts, and the reproductive part of the both the flowers are removed. See, removed stamens from purple flower, transferred pollen from stamens of white flower to carpel of purple flower. Okay, that means the stamens of white flower and the carpel, that is, this is a female flower, this is a male flower, they both are pollinated. Okay, then after the pollination, what has been seen that a mature pod has been developed. Okay, now this mature pod is this your green pea, and when you are producing, I mean when you are growing this green pea again, then you can see these are the varieties we are obtaining. See, here all are purple color, that means the purple color is dominant over the white color, and all purple colors are obtained. Okay, now on the basis of this experiment, he has formulated the not only this pair of experiment, actually, as I have stated earlier, there are 7 pairs. Now we consider this one according to the flower color. See this one, purple and white. But in actual Mendel's experiment, he has taken tall and short as the main character. Okay, so in the law, the first law is about law of dominance. In this, what he wants to convey to us is that the gene has two alleles that can code for a trait. That means one character is always dominant over another character, and the dominant character is always expressed, but the recessive character is less expressed. So here, what is happening? Capital T is crossed with small t. That means this cross is leading to the production of F1 generations, which are capital T small t. As capital T is the dominant one, so the trees are all tall. Okay. Now, this is the text cross thing. Capital T, you are self-pollinating the F1 generation. That means your T, capital T, small t are self-crossed. When you are self-crossing it, you are getting tall plants, capital T, then you are getting um, another dwarf plant, small t, and this is the hybrid one, that is capital T small t. Okay, this is the intermediate hybrid one. So these are the results of the first dominant. From this, he has concluded that there is always two opposite characters are present, but one is dominant over another one. This is the law of dominance. Okay, now moving on to the next law, that is law of segregation. What does this law states us about? During the formation of gametes, the paired alleles separate randomly so that each gamete receives one allele or the other. That means the two alleles of the gene present in the F1 do not contaminate each other. They separate and pass into different gametes in their original form, producing two different types of gametes in equal proportion. That means, suppose one character is being transferred from one generation to another, it is seen that if the particular character is not expressed, it does not it is not totally removed. It can be returned back. It can be, it can segregate out in the next generation. So it has been seen that from one generation to another, the characters are passed through, but the characters um, express does not express in every generation, but they remain in a dormant condition and they segregate out in different generations. Okay, so this segregation is all about how different characters are carried from one generation to another. The pair of alleles of each parent separate, and only one allele passes from each parent to an offspring. Okay, so from one offspring to another, how they are moved, they all these are explained here. And segregation occurs during the process of gamete formation. Segregation means, that means which characters will move to the next generation, which character will stay back as recessive. All these things are being done in the gamete formation stage itself. Okay, now This is the experiment he has done. Tall plant is crossed with small plants. Then this is the F1 generation, capital T, small t. This has already been stated. Now this is the checker box. You are crossing the tall with small. That means the overall product you're getting is your 75% tall and 25% dwarf. That means if you crisscross this thing, that means it is like a matrix and or a checker, and it is known as checker box. You are multiplying the thing, then you are getting capital T in the first quadrant, and then capital T small t in the second. In the third quadrant, the same thing for the dwarf. That means as capital T is present in three varieties, that means it will be tall and small t will be dwarf. Okay. So the phenotypic ratio will be 3 is to 1. That means 3 are tall, 1 is short. And genotypic will be 1 is to 2 is to 1. It is not mentioned in the slide here. Genotypic ratio means how the genes are present. So that thing can be seen. This is one type of gene, these are two, and this is the third one. So 1 is to 2 is to 1 is the genotypic ratio. Phenotypic means your the character which you can visually see. You can see visually that tall trees. There are three tall trees. So in, I mean three, not three tall trees. 75% are tall trees. Okay. So no, now these numbers are nothing but how many he has considered many plants together. Then only he concluded this law. Okay. Now this explains the law of segregation. Now and what about this one? This one is nothing but when the F1 plants were crossed back to the dwarf variety. Capital T small t were crossed with small t small t. So what we are getting here, all tall plant, all short plant. Okay. This further shows us that different characters are segregated from one generation to another. Okay. Now a law of independent assortment. This is the third law. Okay, the first one is dominance, second one is segregation, third one is independent assortment. Independent assortment means from the term itself you can see independent means the your this particular term itself tells you that the process is not at all upon anyone dependent upon any particular character. They are mainly, see, this is the dependent upon any other character, but they can segregate out in their own way. Okay, that means suppose this one is the independent assortment. Okay, so this independent assortment will not be uh, dependent on any of the processes, and assortment means when different things are getting segregated in a independent manner. Okay, this law states that the this law states mainly the what are the things we want to assort. The law states that member of differential pairs of alleles assort independently during the formation of gametes. That means this means that traits are transmitted to offspring independent of one another. Okay, there are traits which are uh, transmitted from one offspring to another, and they are not dependent on anybody. Okay, these are the three laws of Mendel's you need to understand. Now the last thing, which is last thing for today, is the why was Mendel so successful. Why? Because he considered one character at a time. Okay, so he was very much successful in explaining each of the characters, and he selected p variety, round and pea variety, and this plant is very much favorable for genetical studies. So he was successful, and another reason is the in general reason it is great care and elaborateness. That means he do the things with so much care and extensiveness, so the over sorry, so the overall results were in favor of him. Okay, so this is all about today's lecture. Thank you, students.